Hello and welcome back to this Dam for the Idealistic Crusade. This video will be a review of technically the third Batman the Animated Series feature release animated film. And the reason why I say technically is this film was made in 2003 and released straight to video, but it is not technically in the same production order as the original Batman the Animated Series. It doesn't have all of the original creative personnel and cast and crew involved, but it has most of them with some new people. So it is technically still in the Batman the Animated Series DC animated world, and that is 2003's Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, which is here on the Warner Brothers regular studio label Blu-ray release. This came out in 2011 and replaced the old Snapper Case DVD, which I have here from 2003. Now, this one also, like Mask of the Phantasm, came from a story concept by Alan Burnett, and it is a great, interesting story concept, and the actual reveal is quite nice and interesting and unexpected. So those are the great elements you come to this film for, and the fact that you have Kevin Conroy returning again as Batman. And anytime Kevin Conroy voices Batman, it becomes a must-watch, or in regards to the Arkham games, a must-play experience. Unfortunately, of the three sort of Batman animated universe features, this is really the weakest one, and is the one that feels the most like a children's animated feature, a direct-to-video release. Again, the mystery idea is great. The reveal is great. The concept is great. It's just the execution feels kind of lacking, and the animation is a bit stiff. It definitely is, because it's 2003. It does have some of the hallmarks of, it's in the new Batman Adventures style, so it doesn't have the original animated series style, but it's also got some of the hallmarks of the Batman Beyond series, and this was directed by Kurt Gita, who did a lot of the Batman Beyond series. So it's sort of a mishmash of styles, because you do have some characters return from the original animated series, like the mob boss Rupert Thorne, who was brought in through the animated series. He's brought in here, but they throw him into the new design Batman look of the new Batman Adventures. It's essential if you're a fan of the animated series to look at Mystery of the Batwoman, but again, it is definitely a bit lacking. It is something that you're probably only going to watch a few times, but again, it's a definite shame, because the overall concept is a very good one. I think Alan Burnett has a real knack for coming up with great story concepts, because of course he was the one who came up with the original concept and wrote the original outline that became Mask of the Phantasm. Again, coming off of a great starter idea. So that's the best part of Mystery of the Batwoman. That, and the fact that you have Kevin Conroy and most of the original cast and crew still on board, and it's another sort of last gasp of, you want some more Batman the Animated Series content, but the show is long over, and it's years after Sub-Zero, it's years after New Batman Adventures, because 2003, this is after Justice League had already started, but we get one more adventure in the sort of animated series Batman world, and for what it is, it's okay. It's interesting to come back to when you rewatch the series and the other two features, but definitely don't go in with super high expectations. This one definitely feels like a DTV movie. Now, to talk about Warner Brothers Blu-ray, again, this came out in 2011. It is not an archive release, so it's a standard studio release. The big upgrade here is not just that it went to HD, but that this goes into the standard 16:9, 1:7:8:1 widescreen ratio, whereas the DVD and all other airings were in 4:3, and this does seem to play a lot better in a widescreen ratio. It is nice to see that it got an HD bump, but unfortunately, the transfer on this is not very good. There's moments where you get aliasing here and there. There is some banding and things like that, but there's also some shots that look very ropey and some shots that look very soft scattered throughout. So I don't know exactly what happened, but this is a very older Blu-ray disc that has, not the best encoding in the world. This is not up to the standards of, say, a Warner Archive title, and I wish they had redone this when they did the animated series box. Like, if this could have gotten a new encoding job, like Warner does sometimes, they do re-encoding jobs, or they spiff up an audio track on something, or they take an old VC1 disc and upgrade it to MPEG-4 encoding. I wish that had happened here, because unfortunately, this is not a very great looking Blu-ray, but thankfully it's still in print and it's very cheap, and it is better than the old DVD. But I would say hang on to your DVD because you do get the 4x3 framing, which is not replicated on the Blu-ray. You also get snapper case art, which looks a little bit nicer. The Blu-ray art is the same, but the snapper case, always like anything in this design, you get a custom card insert on the inside for the actual chapter credits, which of course is not on the Blu-ray release. It's just a standard eco case inside, and here you get a silvery treatment of the disc art, whereas opposed to the DVD, it gets a full color rendering disc label. Of course, the rear of each is almost identical, but with some slight changes for the Blu-ray to talk about the HD transfer. Otherwise, it is the same. Now, in terms of extras, the big draw is the fact that it includes the silent short Chase Me, which is a very cute little Paul Dini scripted short of Catwoman and Batman having one of their usual nightly jaunts in Gotham City. It's a cute little thing, and it's done entirely without dialogue. That's the real draw of it. And the sad part is that little 6-minute short with zero dialogue has more energy and charm than the entirety of the feature that it's packed with. And that's not to say that, again, Mystery of the Batwoman is bad. It does have its moments, and again, the concept is great. But the fact that a 6-minute silent short that Paul Dini wrote, and it's kind of just a silly gag idea, it has more energy than the feature. It definitely says something. I will say that the Chase Me short unfortunately has a very stock jazzy score to it, which, I mean, it's okay, but it definitely, I wish it had a more traditional animated series score. There's also a pretty, I say significant, but it's definitely a fluff piece. But there is some video footage of the production, and everybody sitting at a round table with the storyboards and some interview bits with Alan Burnett and Kurt Gita and Andrea Romano, and getting to see some of the actors in the recording sessions. So that's a nice little behind the scenes look, but it is very small, and it is obviously designed as a fluff piece. But it's cool to see something on one of these releases, and that it's intended for an adult watching this, and it's not simply edited down to 90 seconds and how to draw Batman, and like kids have no attention span. It is nice to see some sort of actual production material featurette. So we get that included here. That's everything is carried over from the DVD, and that's broken up into really 2 different featurettes, and then we get a small character bio and gallery, which are just some scattered images, but mostly just throwaways. So again, everything from the DVD is carried over. So the only reason you hang on to the DVD is for the alternate 4:3 ratio. So the reason why I wanted to review this disc separately is you have to look at it separately. For some unknown reason, this was not included in the complete animated series Blu-ray box set that I have here. I think it's probably because this is technically considered its own thing and a standalone feature, but you have Alan Burnett doing the story concept. You have a lot of the animated regulars. You have Kevin Conroy doing Batman, and it's also in the art design of the new Batman adventures with the Rupert Thorne character and stuff like that. So it's still technically part of the animated series, so they could have very easily slotted this in since they did Phantasm and Sub-Zero. So unfortunately, for the full, complete Batman the Animated Series experience on Blu-ray, you have to get both the set and then the standalone release of Mystery of the Batwoman. So this was not included in the set release. And again, thankfully, it's very cheap and it's still in print, so you don't have to track down a rare out-of-print copy or anything. But unfortunately, it is a dated presentation. It doesn't look as good as it should. But it's still good to have an HD. I am very glad that they released this on Blu-ray and it's in widescreen. So when you do the whole complete Batman the Animated Series rewatch, and you rewatch the show, you rewatch the 2 features, you kind of have to go back and rewatch Mystery of the Batwoman to just get the whole complete experience, because it's sort of an outlier, but again, it is within the realm of Batman the Animated Series, so I do consider it a part of the overall arc, even though it was 2003, many years later. But it's just a shame they didn't include it in the box set, and an even bigger shame that it wasn't re-encoded as a better disc transfer, because again, unfortunately, this is not a very good Blu-ray. It's okay, it's better than the DVD, but you are going to go in, and if you've not seen this Blu-ray transfer before, it is rather disappointing. But it's an okay feature. It's an okay way to spend an hour and 15 minutes, but it's definitely a major come down after Sub-Zero, and especially Mask of the Phantasm, which remains the best Batman feature film ever made, I think, in terms of being the purest adaptation of The Dark Knight on screen. So again, this is one where if you're going to get into the animated series, you kind of have to go watch Mystery of the Batwoman. It is much more of a harder sell because it is much more generic in places. It does have some cliches here and there, but I will say if you're going to go for the whole animated series experience, you do have to watch Mystery of the Batwoman. And even though it is a bit more generic in the storytelling and there are some cliches and it is very much a direct-to-video feeling experience, I do like the mystery concept. I like the idea of introducing a new crime-fighting figure into Gotham and Batman having to use his detective skills and figure out who this is. And I like the concept that Alan Burnett came up with. And I like the ultimate reveal. It is a bit more... There's more intelligence going on than just, we have to unmask who it is, and we've got 5 different suspects. So I won't spoil anything. There is a nice little surprise there. But unfortunately, it doesn't add up to much more than that. So it is very much the most direct-to-video feeling of all the animated Batman experiences. Lastly, I should mention the audio is DTS HDMA 5.1, so it's a lossless bump of the Dolby AC3 track that was on the DVD. In terms of the mix, it's okay, but it's, obviously with television origins, so it is very much front-oriented. There's a little bit of ambiance here and there, not terribly much LFE usage, so your subwoofer's not going to do very much. So it's basically like most direct-to-video films or animated films. It just doesn't really utilize much of the 5.1 sound field. It's okay. It's, a bit more bombastic than, say, one of the later show episodes. And it is cool that we got an HD bump and that we even got it released on Blu-ray. But, the big draw for this release is going to be seeing it in HD with lossless audio and in widescreen as opposed to the old 4x3 DVD. So, again, it's a subpar Blu-ray, but it does port over all the old extras. And if you are a Batman the Animated Series fan, you have to get this in addition to the complete box set to have the whole realm of the animated series on Blu-ray. So that's it for this particular review. As always, leave any comments you have below. I will be doing a review of the complete series box set and all of its various nuances and drawbacks and things, but that's going to be a much longer video than this. I wanted to do the feature releases separately because that way the box set review wouldn't be too terribly long. But with that said, keep your disc spinning, keep physical media alive, and thanks ever so much for watching.